Team now playing for a Sun Bowl championship title that's happening as we speak. Plus tonight you're telling us all about the Sun Bowl and where ASU and Duke fans should actually visit when they're in town. Also, Duke and ASU, the fans are turning to social media. They're talking about the weekend game and how they're connecting with us and you. Also tonight, you're talking about a Las Cruces police standoff, and it ended with shots fired, and your hope that nobody was hurt. We'll go over your comments on that. Plus,
a reward is up for grabs for anyone with information about who set this Eastside church on fire. I'm Pilar Arias. Hear that story next.
And also, we're talking about the storm track weather. Nichole, what do you have going for us today?
Bob, we are under that storm track weather first alert. We're tracking a big cool down tomorrow. I'll talk about the details in your full storm track weather forecast.
We look forward to that. This is ABC-7 at 9. Get ready. You become part of the day's news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
At the Don Haskins Center, the place to be tonight. The Sun Bowl Basketball Invitational, it's underway right now. After losing by just 5 points to national powerhouse Arizona on Friday night, UTEP is back in full force, playing in the championship game of this tournament right now. Fans of the Sun Bowl game are also turning to social media, where Saturday's ASU-Duke matchup is all the rage. The Daily Devil tweeting tonight, asking fans if they're ready. And then someone replying, "It's worth the drive. Remember to use that hashtag Sun Bowl." And how about this Duke fan? Lucas Patrick is posting on Twitter, "Just landed and great views flying into El Paso." He used the hashtag Hyundai Sun Bowl. And indeed, they did arrive. We were there as the Duke Blue Devils made their way through El Paso International this afternoon. As always, the team was greeted with great fanfare, music, dancing, and a true taste of El Paso. You know it. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us tonight here on ABC-7 at 9 on the Las Cruces and El Paso CW. I'm Bob Harp, and as always, I am joined by the one and only Nichole Gomez. Nichole, our storm tracker tonight, but of course I couldn't get through all the feedback and the comments without your help, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bob.
Of course.
And this is the Borderlands only newscast that gives you at home a chance to shape up the stories of today. And you can do that through our social media network. Remember the hashtag KVIA.TV. Here's how you can find us. We're at Facebook.com, KVIA.TV. On Instagram, follow us, or hashtag your photos, KVIA.TV. And on Twitter, it's at ABC7 Breaking. And before we get to talking about tonight, Bob, we want to talk about that forecast because we're tracking some big changes. For tomorrow, strong gusts is what you can expect through tomorrow morning, I should say, about 3 o'clock in the morning. If you've been out and about, you know just how strong these winds have picked up. So not only are we tracking strong gusts, but a cold front. And that is the reason we're seeing these strong wind gusts, is because that cold front that is expected to arrive tonight and tomorrow and drop our temperatures. So be prepared for about a 15 to 20 degree drop in temperatures. Our daytime highs today in El Paso, 67 degrees. Tomorrow, our highs only topping out in the 40s. Now you can see just north of El Paso, that entire blue area, that is all that cold air that is tracking into our region. But again, picking up those winds before we see those cooler temperatures. 26-mile-per-hour winds in El Paso, our gust at 35 miles per hour. If you are going to be out and about tonight, use caution, and the winds are expected to stick around tomorrow morning. So our temperatures are not too bad right now. But Bob, again, that first alert was issued not because of the strong winds that we are seeing, but because of the cold temperatures that we're expecting tomorrow.
All right, we'll definitely have to stay tuned to your forecast. We appreciate that, Nichole, and we'll talk about the day's news in just a minute. You know, there is also the Sun Bowl Basketball Invitational happening right now. Of course, the football games this weekend. Well, UTEP is playing in the championship game tonight. Here's a look at the updated score. Just a few minutes left in the game. UTEP taking on Kent State and doing very well in front of a home crowd at the Don Haskins Center. UTEP is up 62-52, and what a week it's been for the Miners, coming so close to beating third-ranked Arizona at the Don just the other day. Now you can look for highlights of tonight's game on ABC-7 at 10. By the way, I want to mention that UTEP's Vince Hunter, he was named Conference USA Player of the Week for the third time this season. Way to go, Hunter. So the Miners, they got their most convincing win of the season. This was the last night when they beat Alcorn State 78-45. So that means Alcorn State then played North Dakota State in the consolation game in this tournament. By the way, North Dakota State won that game a little earlier today, 61-50. Now let's get back to the Sun Bowl football game on our social media network tonight. Christine saying, "Love my Dukies. Go Duke." Well, she says that as the Duke Blue Devils come to town. I almost wore the same folklorico outfit today, the colorful dress, but, I didn't want to steal Nichole's thunder tonight, right? Hey, never a disappointment. People here in El Paso know how to welcome these teams and throw a party. We had live coverage of their arrival on ABC-7 at 5. And again, the team was supposed to show up at 3. Then that was postponed to 4:30. Then closer to 5 is when they actually got into town. So the team now soaking in the celebrations and the culture.
You don't see this kind of tradition and heritage on the East Coast. So it's a cultural shock for all of us, but it's definitely good for us to kind of open our eyes and see the other side of the spectrum.
Well, I'm really excited to come and hang out and meet these passionate people here because, based off that, it's a very passionate city, and it's really cool for us to be able to go into a new culture, a really new culture, and that's, it's going to be really exciting.
Well, how about this tweet from Duke fans? Someone asking Santa for a win this Christmas. Oh, isn't that sweet? Using that hashtag Sunbowl. And Nikki saying, "See you later, Durham." The bags are packed, as you see in this picture that she posted. Twitter blowing up right now with this game. We have some ASU tweets. That's a little bit later in this newscast, so all you Sun Devil fans, we have not forgotten about you. And the Sun Bowl coverage continues now, new tonight on our website, KVIA.com. We've just put some pretty cool information on a story of all Sun Bowls in the past, a history of them. Fun facts that could actually help you in a trivia game. And for those of you just visiting, if you're looking for something to do, we've also put together a list of stuff to do in the Sun City. And maybe you live here and you have suggestions for the visitors. You can check out this story and then post your suggestions on our Facebook page. Just like these two gentlemen have. Rodney tonight telling us L&J's and Kiki's Restaurant and Bar. I agree, Rodney. I have to say, if you go to L&J's, get the chimichanga or the tomatilla enchiladas. Amazing. And the McGoffin Home, L&J Cafe, El Paso Saddle Blanket, and Chepe's Tamales. This comment comes from Al. Now, get those comments to us right now. That discussion is buzzing on our Facebook page. Okay, we have some other stories that you need to know tonight before joining the social media discussion. First up, a Las Cruces man. Police there saying he caused chaos on the street, and he's no longer a threat tonight. An officer-involved shooting near the Mesilla Valley Mall ended with a standoff in the area near the Munson Senior Center. Now, if you were told not to leave your house today or the street to your home was actually blocked off, you need to know that all is back to normal and you can leave your house and you can use the streets. As for the man that police say caused all this, we're told that he was hurt during the shootout. One of our viewers, Orlando, saying no loss to humanity being a criminal. It's bad for you, your health, good outcome. ABC-7's Josie Ortegon tracked this story all day from our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom. All right, we'll get to Josie's report coming up in just a bit, but the main focus of that is there was a gentleman, or a man, I should say, who apparently caused some sort of a police chase, and excuse me, a standoff, and then he hid out in a drainage ditch underneath the ground, and then shots were fired with police. We do want to let you know that thankfully nobody else was hurt. We do understand it does appear that that man was shot. We're still waiting for police to update his condition tonight. So that is a story we are following from our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom. We do have some comments, though, at least this one from one of our viewers. Social media network blowing up with this, pretty much just wishing the police that they're okay. That is one of the viewer comments that we will try to get to in just a little bit. Joaquin is his name, saying that he hopes the brothers in blue are okay. Hey, well, we do too, and good to know that all of those officers are okay. We're happy to report that. Excuse me. And for that matter, we will continue to update the situation in Las Cruces. In the meantime, you also need to know that a church that was deliberately set on fire last month, back in the news tonight, it is all about finding whoever burned down the Faith Assembly of God Church near Saul Kleinfeld in Montana. This is video that we shot the night of the fire, a couple days ago, or a couple months ago, I should say, how it shows the church was destroyed, the damage estimated at $200,000. And here is where you come in. New at 9, let's get that part of the story from ABC-7's Pilar Arias. Pilar, this is news that you need to know tonight.
That's right, Bob. It's been nearly a month since the church went up in flames. Now up to $5,000 is being offered by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives for information leading to whoever is responsible for starting that fire that caused $200,000 worth of damage, like you said. The Faith Assembly of God stands all boarded up. I was told it has been deemed a total loss. Pastor Mike Doyle tells me his 25-member congregation is now meeting at a parishioner's house for services. An ATF spokesman says offering such a high reward for an arrest and conviction in an arson case is actually fairly uncommon. The last one he remembers goes back to April of this year. Tonight, Fire Marshal Orlando Ariola tells you what you need to know.
There's got to be somebody that knows something that could possibly be a lead, and if somebody would come forward with whatever that information may be, whether they feel it's pertinent or not, please divulge that to us and let us determine whether or not it has some impact or significance to the case.
There's 2 numbers to call if you believe you have a tip. 240-3169 is the El Paso Fire Department. 534-6449 is the local ATF office. Both numbers are already posted in this story on KVIA.com. Bob, back to you.
All right, Pilar, thanks so much for that. We appreciate that story, and we have some other stories you need to know, like, for example, this woman accused of starting another fire in the Lower Valley back in September. 24-year-old Rosauro Barron, we'll get to her picture in just a bit, but she allegedly set a fire at a repair garage. That fire spread to a couple vehicles. She's now being held on a $175,000 bond. And we are also still trying to learn the name of a man found dead inside a home that caught fire yesterday. This was on the 100 block of North Aubrey. The home was condemned. The El Paso Fire Deputy Chief tells us crews did not see the man's body until later in the day. You need to know the chief that was asking you to call the department if you know anything about this. Another story you need to know tonight, that new information on what is being called a homicide in El Paso. A woman found dead near the Anthony Gap in October is a 49-year-old Hilda Monge. That is not the right information there. We apologize. Well, the sheriff's office is hoping you know who killed this woman. Now, remember, when Monge's body was first found, they asked us to show her clothing with hopes of learning who she was. And also, you need to know that we are trying to figure out what was behind all that commotion overnight at a Northeast El Paso apartment complex on the 4800 block of Hercules. All police are telling us tonight is that it's a case of aggravated assault. Witnesses tell us that they saw police putting evidence in a bag and someone leaving in an ambulance.
Okay, well, I was asleep, right, and there was a lot of noise, real loud noises. And I figured it was the door, right at the door. And when I woke up, the cops were already here. I got scared because I didn't know what's going on.
Police, by the way, they are not yet giving us any details. Lives in the apartment complex is who that woman was. Did not want to be identified. Hey, North Korea, this story has you talking tonight, experiencing internet outages. Now, it's still not clear, though, tonight if the internet problems are an act of retribution for a major cyber attack, the one that was aimed at Sony. And remember, Sony then pulled the movie The Interview from theaters. Well, the FBI last week linked that to North Korea, that being the internet, the actual hacking of that. So now there's an outage in North Korea. What do you think? Is that suspicious? Do you think something's up? Well, we are getting some comments tonight on stories all over the borderland and internationally. This story is generating a response from Mark saying, fly over North Korea and drop copies of this movie to the people. And we even got one from Armando saying, what if this is all a hoax created by Sony as an extreme marketing tactic? Everyone is in on it except the American people. Once it does get released, everyone will go watch it because it's the patriotic thing to do. Tell us what you think tonight. Also, taking you to the streets, we have our TxDOT traffic camera system, and there we can look at what it looks like outside. Because we have that first alert in effect right now, we are keeping an eye on the roads. So, is there anything we need to worry about, Nichole, as far as the roads go?
Absolutely, Bob. The winds are definitely howling out there, and we're expecting our peak gusts between 11 o'clock tonight to 3 o'clock in the morning. So just be prepared if you're out and about that late or up that early in the morning that the winds are expected to be strong. But that's not the reason for the first alert. We're expecting a big drop in temperature. So I'll talk about those details in your full forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Nichole. This is ABC 7 at 9, where news comes first and you become part of the day's news. Stay with us.